In the podcast, Ben Shapiro discusses the upcoming 2024 election and makes points for both Democrats and Republicans. He starts by addressing the Democrats' reliance on celebrities to boost their political candidates. Shapiro argues that leveraging celebrity endorsements does not guarantee victory and points out that the influence of celebrities in politics has diminished over time. He criticizes the Democratic strategy of seeking endorsements from celebrities like Taylor Swift, stating that it is not a reliable way to win elections. Shapiro emphasizes that basing one's vote on celebrity endorsements is not a sound approach to politics and suggests that voters should not be swayed by such endorsements. Shapiro also criticizes the Republican tendency to believe in conspiracy theories, particularly in relation to the influence of celebrities and the Pentagon. He dismisses the idea that the promotion of Taylor Swift by the NFL is part of a Pentagon conspiracy, highlighting the absurdity of such claims. He warns against the belief that everything is a conspiracy, stating that it is enervating and detrimental to the Republican Party and American politics as a whole. Shapiro begins by critiquing the Biden administration's foreign policy, particularly its approach to Iran and the Middle East. He argues that the administration's policies have led to a resurgence of Iranian influence in the region, allowing Iranian military proxies to expand their presence and influence. Shapiro highlights the administration's reluctance to take a strong stance against Iran, citing statements from administration officials that downplay the possibility of military action. He emphasizes the importance of deterrence in dealing with Iran and criticizes the administration for not projecting a credible threat of military force. Shapiro also discusses the recent escalation of tensions in the Middle East, including attacks on American personnel and proxy forces by Iranian-backed groups. He questions the administration's response to these incidents, suggesting that its reluctance to confront Iran has emboldened the country and its proxies. Shapiro argues that the administration's approach to Iran is driven by political considerations, particularly in an election year, and that it has failed to effectively address the growing threat posed by Iranian influence in the region. Shapiro also references statements made by Jake Sullivan and Anthony Blinken, members of the Biden administration, regarding the situation in the Middle East. He contrasts Sullivan's earlier assertion that the region was quieter than it had been in 2 decades with Blinken's acknowledgement of the current dangerous and volatile situation. Shapiro attributes the shift to the administration's pro-Iranian policy, which has emboldened Iran and led to increased instability in the region. Shapiro then shifts his focus to the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border, criticizing the Biden administration's handling of immigration policy. He highlights the surge in illegal border crossings and border encounters, citing the administration's failure to address the issue effectively. Shapiro argues that the administration's policies have contributed to the crisis at the border, leading to a lack of security and control over immigration. He also discusses the recent border convoy organized by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, expressing skepticism about its effectiveness. Shapiro suggests that the convoy may not be a useful approach to addressing the border crisis, cautioning against actions that could escalate tensions and create unnecessary risks. He emphasizes the need for a more strategic and coordinated response to immigration issues, particularly in light of the administration's failure to address the situation effectively. Shapiro then delves into the defamation case involving Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll, a gossip columnist who accused Trump of raping her in the 1990s. He provides a critical analysis of Carroll's claims, highlighting inconsistencies and lack of supporting evidence in her allegations. Shapiro questions the credibility of Carroll as a witness, citing a 2019 interview in which she made contradictory statements about the alleged rape. He also discusses the recent verdict in the defamation case, in which Carroll was awarded an $83 million judgment against Trump. Shapiro expresses skepticism about the outcome of the case, questioning the validity of the jury's decision and the credibility of Carroll's claims. He highlights a recent interview in which Carroll discussed using the money from the judgment for personal expenses, raising doubts about her motivations and the sincerity of her allegations.